Hey Mo, it's really great to host you at India, the first India Blockchain Week. We've had many of the discussion in the, around the world for hackathons and developer, growth. And I think the India is really the special market for Aptos with such a great developer growth and several leading ecosystem projects such as Chingari, Martian, and Kana Labs being part of the, Aptos ecosystem in India. Could you share a little bit more about, how you guys are looking at Indian market as a Web3, leader in developer hub, and also how you guys are structuring the, support in seeing more founders coming on to Aptos ecosystem?
Yeah, appreciate it. And Beck, thanks for having me. India, thanks for having me. It's amazing to see such a beautiful room filled up. Although it looks a little bit dark in there, I can still see people's pearly smiles. Um, India is a very special place for us. My both personally for me, for our team, but more importantly, as an anchor for all of Web3. And I think you don't really have to look at Web3 as just the innovation opportunity. You can look at all the amazing things the country has built in the Web2 world. They've been at the cornerstone of innovation. India's done a phenomenal job of pushing applications and pushing boundaries. The Indian people have an amazing resiliency. We feel very proud of that resiliency. And if you think about everything that they've gone through over the last decade, they're well positioned to be an amazing anchor for Web3. And I think you talked a little bit about some of the projects that are building in our space, but we just had Sandeep on the stage. He's an Indian founder. Obviously, Hatch has a massive presence in the country, and so we're looking at we're not looking at just the future. We're looking at the present of what's being built. And for Aptos, we've taken that global approach at since day one, whether it's being in places like Korea or being in places like India or sitting in Hong Kong. It's really important we pay attention to where the developers are. And again, the room today is filled with an amazing group of folks, and we're on the ground there working together. What we do there is show up locally, and so this is not just a bunch of projects that we're working with, but our team is on the ground. We have folks like Naresh, who is in the Aptos Foundation, who's based out there. We have our amazing group of engineers and developers that are visiting in town today. Many of them are Indian as well, including folks like Pranav and Vinayak who are down there. And so if you see Aptos, you see our people, you see our faces, and we're there and we work hand in hand with the teams to get them up and running.
To highlight the main mission of Aptos again, the project really started to address the millions of billions of adoption into Web3. And I think, Indian market is really the hub of where that can really happen. You guys been successful in not only onboarding some of the bottom up, engineers and founders to the project, but also been really killing it in onboarding the, high profile projects and companies such as Microsoft, Alibaba, Google, CNBC Universal, and also, SK Telecom in Korea. Do you have some of the plans in India to see that millions of adoption gateway to partner with in Aptos ecosystem?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think all of us often talk about what the potential of Web3 is, but it really again comes down to how do you get distribution in market? And the way you do that is by creating the best, not only the best protocol, but the most seamless way to interact with that protocol. You have, we have amazing tooling that's available. We have, smart contract language, Move. We have components like the Move Prover. And we have, again, an amazing group of folks that are interested in seeing how they can use Move, Aptos Move specifically to bring their innovation and projects to life. What we've seen is partners like Microsoft have been very interested in Web3, but did not necessarily feel comfortable with existing protocols in market. They did not feel comfortable with layer twos or layer threes or rollups. Instead, they chose to partner with someone like Aptos specifically on bringing things like AI to them and Web3 together to build applications for the future. Microsoft is not the only large institution we're working with. We're working with partners like NBC Universal on thinking about the user unification experience and launching movies on chain. We're working with folks like South Korea Telco on Web3 wallets. Imagine every cell phone provider being able to basically have a Web3 wallet native into their mobile device. We think that could really unleash an immense amount of opportunity for the average individual. And if you're using your mobile phone, chances are you don't want to even know. Sometimes I forget who my cell phone provider is. That's a good thing. That means my cell phone service is working. Uh, Usually, if I'm complaining about my cell phone service, then I'm probably mad at whoever my cell phone service provider is. Blockchains need to go towards that same path. People should not have to worry about, oh, this protocol is down again. Oh, this protocol is very expensive. Oh, this protocol is going through some outages. And so Aptos is designed to be that reliable and scalable protocol that a lot of these enterprises are trusting. And so we're very proud of that. But among all those company names that you mentioned, for me, I really want to see Shah Rukh Khan on Web3. And I think India is going to make that happen.
That's amazing to hear. You touched a little bit about, how Aptos was differentiated to onboard such a big partners to build on Aptos ecosystem. Since we have a lot of developers in IBW, and Aptos is hosting a dev day today, and there are multiple hackathons going on this week. Maybe if you could highlight some of the specific updates of Aptos features or the chain updates that developers should be aware and playing around with to see what's possible on Aptos. I think that would be really helpful for the audiences here today.
Appreciate that. Yeah. We had our dev day. We had a bunch of different meetups scheduled throughout the week, and it's been amazing to see all the interest in Aptos. And we really appreciate the Indian community, the Bangalore community, really tapping in and connecting with us and meeting our teams. But I think one thing that we've noticed everyone is really attracted to is the center of what Aptos sort of brings to the table that's brand new, which is Aptos Move. Move is a deterministic hermetic language that we designed from the ground up. And we built it in a way that provides a lot of safety and security for the developer. And so by working really hard on creating this new language, our goal was to again make it as easy as possible, as comfortable as possible, so that entrepreneurs and builders like yourselves in the room, don't have to worry about is my smart contract going to have issues with it. And so we're continuously, of course, making updates to the Move smart contract language. In fact, we made a few this year, and we'll continue to push Aptos Move into the future. In fact, Aptos Move has been so exciting that other protocols are now starting to pay attention to Move, and we're flattered that they're trying to implement Move into their protocols to help themselves as well. We're very proud of Aptos Move. The second is, looking at things like consensus. Consensus is a very difficult. It's a very important part of a blockchain. It's very important to have a consensus mechanism, ideally one that's Byzantine fault tolerant like ours. But our research team, folks like Sasha and Balaji, who Balaji happens to be from Tamil, a PhD who's been working on consensus mechanisms, has actually introduced something new into the market called Shoal. Shoal is going to be a much more efficient consensus mechanism. It's going to improve things like throughput while maintaining really low latency, and again continue to have a protocol push the boundaries of what Aptos is capable of into the future in 2024. Today we can support 19,000 transactions per second in real. These are real transactions, not governance votes like other protocols. We also support these transactions at sub-second latency. So, if someone from Bangalore wanted to send money to me right now, it would probably happen. It would happen in under 1 second. And all of that, again, is provided in a way that it will be improving in the future. We've actually done some testing recently. We talked a little bit about PreviewNet, where we produced 2 billion transactions in 1 day. These are things that are completely unheard of, 30,000 transactions per second in PreviewNet. And we're moving towards an environment where sharding will even add more efficiency to throughput. All of these things are pretty much all only available on Aptos. And so if you're a developer sitting in that room, you're not only going to be able to build focus on your products that you're excited about from an innovation perspective, but you'll be able to do it in a completely seamless way. And this is where we're seeing an amazing investor community come behind Aptos as well. I know Hash has looked at a bunch of projects in the Aptos ecosystem, and obviously you guys have planted an amazing flag in a part of the world that everyone is paying attention to. We have an amazing group of investors that are also continuing to support folks around the Aptos ecosystem. So, if you're building on Aptos Move, chances are your company has a much higher rate of success compared to anything else in the in the Web3 ecosystem today. Oh,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's amazing to hear. We're coming to a, quite a dynamic end of the 2023. There were a lot of things happen throughout the industry. Um, what are some of the remaining challenges you see that we couldn't solve in 2023, and some of the things you're expecting that this will be the frontier of challenges, not just for Aptos, for overall developer community to solve in the coming 2024?
hmm. This is a really good question, Beck. I wish I had an hour to talk about this one. Um, I think the new developers that are entering this market, um, we're very excited about them. The existing developers that have been building in this market, we're very excited and we're very proud of them as well. They've pushed the boundaries of what's possible in Web3, and some of them have started to get stuck because they're deploying on you know the equivalent of a mainframe in a basement, and their applications and their innovation is exceeding the capabilities of what protocols can support. Today, they don't have to worry about that with Aptos. So these challenges are being solved at the protocol level, and we're excited to be at the center of that. The second thing is it's just building with incredible amount of integrity and responsibility. This space has matured. Developers and entrepreneurs have gone through many journeys collectively, and the sophistication and what you learn in building in this space, over the years is invaluable. That maturation has led to building smarter, better applications that stand the test of time. And we're incredibly proud to have a lot of those very high quality applications on Aptos that stand right next to folks like Microsoft, South Korea Telco, Chingari, Kala Labs, and many more. And so, one of the most important things for us is that evolution of that developer that'll be traveling through that journey. It's not easy. This is where someone like Hash is available in India. Of course, our team is available in India, but we're also available globally, and we want to help these developers traverse these challenges together. And we think we can really set the standard for what Web3 applications should look like in this next cycle.
Thank you. As a venture investor in the Web3 space, we've been focusing on a lot of the new frontiers that create adoption for blockchain and Web3 community, uh, especially around real-world assets, bringing massive amount of assets that were not present on tokenized form or digital form onto blockchain for better efficiency, transparency, and safety. Another areas that we've been looking at are such as a virtual entertainment, gaming, metaverse. Many of the Web3 games that have raised significant capital are planning to be launched early next year, which is creating a quite excitement on how the generation two of blockchain games will be performing and actually create adoption in the industry after the crazy boom of the play to earn that couldn't really sustain the token economic sustainability. So on the other hand, some of the focus we've been looking at is obviously in the privacy and scalability still, that makes it easy for developers on board faster, or even identity stacks that allow us to build better user targeted analytics, or allow for better UX for mass consumers on board. Looking at 2024, what are some of the sectors that you have been personally spending a lot of time and seeing a brighter future that would drive for the Aptos mission of a billion users on blockchain?
It's I think it's a really important point to call out. What are the industries that are facing disruption with Web3? And there are a few already that you called out. Finance is a very important vertical for us, where we have identity initiatives that we're working on with partners like Mastercard. Franklin Templeton, $1 trillion asset manager, is tokenizing money market funds on Aptos. These are all real world asset use cases that you pointed out. But the reason these large institutions feel comfortable moving some of the most sensitive regulated assets on chain is because they see the next generation of performance being there. Aptos and things like Aptos Move provide a lot of that. The safety and security that you get with our smart contract language is what's giving comfort to a lot of the developers in some of these large organizations to have their initiatives actually move on to Aptos. The second thing the second category that I think is also interesting is gaming. Gaming is a place where you have some of the most interesting user behavior. Gamers love to engage on cutting edge and experimental things. The previous generation of Web3 games, absolutely right. I think showcase what Web3 gaming could look like, but I think falls short in terms of having sustainable economies. However, I think a lot of the smart game developers who are sitting on the sidelines, they now have decided we've learned the lessons that other game developers have, but we want to incorporate the best of Web3. There are over 25 games actually that'll be launching on Aptos in the coming 12 months. We're obviously very excited about that. We have Vinayak, who leads a lot of our gaming efforts, who's in town right now. So if you're building a Web3 game, please go talk to him. But gaming, I think, is a very interesting space where it's digital assets have existed. What Aptos can do is bring those assets into Web3, make them interoperable, make them free to move, and give gamers the freedom that they really want. The other point that I think you really called out is something like privacy. And so while finance and gaming, you want to move these industries into a public permissionless network, you might want to preserve privacy. What we've seen in existing ecosystems is trying to create new ways of introducing privacy into these designs. You see things like ZK rollups and optimistic rollups enter the world. You're starting to see ways of trying to abstract away the account information. All of these challenges, they cost something to that system. There's technical complexity that now an end user has to deal with. There's risk and safety that is introduced, but it doesn't lead to a good developer experience. We thought about this going all the way back to our Facebook days when we were building DM and Libra, and decided we need to have some form of privacy available. We have ZK primitives that we offer today at the protocol level, where someone can take advantage of ZK technology. We also have things like veiled coins or veiled tokens available on our protocol. So, if Beck, you wanted to send me some money again to India, and you're sitting in San Francisco, someone may not actually see how much money you sent to me, but they know that you sent me some money, which is great. It's kind of the equivalent of you see me at the grocery store, you see me buying things, but you don't see how much I'm paying for those things, and there's some privacy there. And we want to offer that. Over time, you can also enhance that and even preserve the privacy of the user by saying, well, you shouldn't be able to see who's transacting individually and how much they're transacting. But of course, these are all available on Aptos today, and we're excited for developers to take advantage of this technology.
Awesome. I think as you described, Aptos has been putting a lot of emphasis on developer support on the ground in India market. And as a investor in venture capital last 7 years, I do think Aptos is one of the best platform for founders to go global. I believe Layer Ones today is not only serving as an infrastructure provider, but it's also serving as some form of a platform to launch your business as a publisher, or it's a gateway for you to address global market. Um, and I think Aptos has that branding and reach to be in that tier one ecosystem globally, to raise awareness for your project, grow as a founder, but also, reach many of the international partners that are onboarding on Aptos. Maybe, as we wrap up this panel, it'd be great to share a little bit more about, how you guys are handholding the founders and developers in India to go global through Aptos ecosystem, and what are some of the efforts that your local team is doing on the ground?
Um, and this is a really important point that you're calling out, right? Developers have incredible aspirations to reach global scale. They want to build products that touch the lives of millions, if not billions, of people, and they finally have that opportunity with the Aptos protocol. We designed the protocol with that developer's dreams in mind. And we think that's incredibly powerful because all we want to do is take those applications and magnify them and put them on the global stage that Aptos has today. And so, if you're building products, think of us as a platform where you can get that proximity to someone like Microsoft or to even someone like Google. We have amazing relationships with both of those organizations, and there are very few protocol. Actually, there's no protocol in the world that has that today. Similarly, we have relationships with folks like Hatched, a global venture capital firm that's built an amazing reputation, and is seen as a blue chip across the world. And so, if you're an entrepreneur, your dreams are big, but you also need a capital to help you get there. And so we have an amazing relationship with folks like Hashed and others globally to help you get that capital that you need. Now, once you have your dream and you have some money in the bank, it's time to ship and it's time to scale and it's time to market your products. And this is where a lot of our team comes in. Developers get an opportunity to work very closely with our engineering team. We're available. I mean, I'll get on a call. Someone like Pranav, who's on the ground there, will get on a call and have a conversation. But we want to make sure we're answering questions and making sure that you guys developers are building the best products out there and building them in a way that they're designed to scale so they get a billion people instead of running into a moment where, oh, my product is going viral, I need to now take it down and rebuild it for the next million people. The second is, once you have that product, we want to make sure we're connecting you with our partners. We want to connect you with someone like Microsoft potentially, or maybe even MasterCard, or maybe even Shingari. We want to make sure that you guys have that proximity so that we can share users with each other and grow this ecosystem collectively. And how do you do that? Not only connecting with us, but also working together with our marketing team to make sure that you can market your products in a way that it reaches the audience that you want, right? Are you making sure that you're looking at the right target market as your beta or your alpha or your beta testers? How do you think about those users eventually to get to your next, 100,000 users? And then, of course, scaling that into the next million users. And so having that journey is something you don't have to go through alone. We have an amazing marketing team at Aptos, but we also have an amazing group of folks that we work with externally as marketing partners that we can connect you with as well. And so, having this combination again of a protocol that's designed for as a global platform is something that we think about holistically. But we have, amazing partners at the table that help you get to that journey, not just in the Aptos ecosystem, but the global Web3 ecosystem that's excited about Aptos as well.
Awesome, Mo. Thank you so much for being part of the first India Blockchain Week and putting immense resources to help grow the India Web3 ecosystem together. Thank you so much.